So I love when an album not only meets my expectations, but more than exceeds it. So, yeah, let's dive into this one. American Mystic by Dream the Electric Sleep. So, Dream the Electric Sleep is a progressive rock band from the US, getting their start in the very early 2010s. Like, I think they formed back in 2009 with guitarist, vocalist Matt Page and drummer Joey Waters. They recruited bassist Chris Tackett, formerly of Hierarchy and Chum. So the trio has put out, at this point, this is their 5th studio album. Their first album was Lost and Gone Forever, which was fine. It came out in 2011. I really heard, I first heard their album Beneath the Dark White Sky back in 2016 and was really, really pleasantly surprised. I like this darker approach to this style of, prog rock, This is kind of in the same vein as, Reign of Keno, that kind of style where it's a little bit more rockin', it's definitely rock first. I'm also getting flavors of Closures in Moscow, so that kind of progressive rock. I then went back and listened to Heretics and was even more surprised. I was a little disappointed with the Giants' New Ground, the one that they came out in 2018, and so they took a little bit of a break because they had 2 years between Heretics and then Beneath the Dark White Sky and then the Giants' New Ground. So I appreciate the fact that these guys took a little bit of time to really, really hone in. And this album's probably their most consistent and solid record to date, if I'm being honest. This is the one that I've been returning to the most. Beneath the Dark White Sky had a couple of tracks on there that I really, really liked. I think the track that I loved the most was Black Wind, and the rest of the album was good, but that was the one that I kept coming back to time and time again. Yeah, with American Mystics, this was one that I've been really, really enjoying. We've got that same kind of dark, progressive rock, and I would say that it's rock first and progressive second, because outside of one track that's touching the 9-minute mark, nothing really goes beyond the 6 minutes. So I appreciate that these guys are, hunkering down and providing that really, really good rock that I feel like we really haven't been getting for the past, 20 years almost. And what I will also say is that the latter half of this album, pretty much starting with the 5th track of The Lessons They Bring onward, is far, far better than the first half. Not to say that the first half isn't bad, isn't good, right? And The Berry Rise being a really quick kind of just opening up the curtains of the track. The album really kicks off with Beyond Repair, which it does a really good job of getting the momentum going, getting that energy flowing. And I love it. It's infectious. It's driven. I love how meaty it is. And I like how big it sounds. It's not just your typical run-of-the-mill rock song. They have this really large sound by the end of the track that I really enjoy. Forged in the Furnace has this kind of sway. It continues the momentum. I don't feel as connected to this one or the follow-up of After the Fallout, which I don't want to say is an early 2000 kind of anthemic type of a song, but it kind of feels like that, kind of like your Jimmy Eat World kind of an idea. And it's a fun little nostalgia bait for me because I grew up with that kind of music, but I don't really feel all that excited about it. The energy's still there. I'm feeling engaged and I'm feeling very, very driven within this, but it isn't until The Lessons They Bring that this album really starts to kick off for me. Again, I'm not getting down on those first 4 tracks. They're fine, but yeah, The Lessons They Bring, it starts off as kind of as the album has been up to that point. The opening of this track is very rockin', it's very soothing, it's very pump up the jams. I'm feeling very early 2000s rock again, but right near the midpoint, the song kind of stops and reevaluates itself and becomes something very, very different. It's much more introspective. There's this kind of slow build that begins to happen, very, very similar to a lot of the prog tracks that I love. It has this outpour of emotion at this point. There's this grand crescendo that I'm oh, we're dealing with something really special here. And that momentum, that shift continues with American Mystics, the actual title track. And it's such a, almost Bon Jovi kind of suburban cowboy thing where you've got this really gradual build, this dark gradual build that that is all in this minor, very dredgy, very like, you know, the hero is overcoming their plight kind of an aspect, until we get to the actual turnaround, the crescendo, the climax, where everything goes into a major chord and it's this triumphant cry. And I really love that build, and I love that resolution that this track has. And just, again, that 1-2 punch is just, it's so fun. And then Steal the Love is fine. You know, this continues the kind of tread, and it provides a really nice kind of carryover into Love Letters, which is such a driven track. Like, it hits the ground running, it never really stops, and it has this really infectious beat to it. And the final track of Laid Down the Cross is, again, this triumphant cry, this triumphant scream out there that I just can't help but find myself, like, jamming along to. Like, my smile begins to perk, like, I can't help but get infectious by all this. And I love that final play out of this album. So, yeah, American Mystics really, really surprised me. I went into Dream the Electric Sleep with, you know, some tampered expectations. Like, I was expecting a good rock album, and what I got was something really, really special. This is one of the more surprising albums that I've gotten this year, one that I've been jamming a lot to lately. I find myself coming back to this one more so than almost any other album that I've heard probably since June, right? Like, I've been really, really enjoying this one, and I didn't expect myself to love it this much. So, yeah, in the end, I will say American Mystics by Dream the Electric Sleep is one I would absolutely pick up in physical format. Like, this is one of those rare exceptions where I would most likely, like, run out to pick this one up. This one is a run, don't walk to go and listen to. You know, this one gets the note seal of approval. I really enjoyed this one. And yeah, Dream the Electric Sleep shows that, you know, they have, like, their best music hasn't been written yet. And I'm really excited to see where they go from here. This album was a triumph. You know, they really knocked it out of the park with this one. And yeah, I highly, highly recommend checking this one out. So yeah, that's what I've got for American Mystics by Dream the Electric Sleep. What did you guys think about this record? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, please let me know by commenting down below. And yeah. I hope you guys have been enjoying my month of classic albums reviews. I've been having a lot of fun with that, and expect a few more, because we're nearing the midpoint, at least upon recording of this, of August. So I've got a handful left. that I'm really excited to share. So yeah, that's all for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.